G'day there guys, Markee here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, hit that like and subscribe button right now and the bell notification so you don't miss an upload. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie. Let's get right into it. Cheers. Posted by a deleted user, titled, I saw my stepmom's Reddit account and found out that she hates me and my siblings. I'm really pissed off and want to vent. I even cried reading the things she said, and I don't know what to do. I don't need any advice, I just want to vent. My father has been married to my stepmother for 5 years. He has been divorced from my mother since my younger brother was 2 years old. There is no beef between them, and they have great co-parenting. I have a 17-year-old sister, a 16-year-old brother, and I'm 25. Then my father has a 3-year-old son with my stepmother. I found her Reddit account in a pretty random way. Since I'm only home on the weekends, I let her use my computer. She forgot to close her email because I was able to come home during the week. She doesn't post too much, but she does comment way too much. I was honestly going to close the email, but it caught my attention that all the replies were from a step-parent subreddit, so curiosity won me over. I know, it's not a good thing to do, and curiosity did kill the cat. The first thing I saw was her last post in which she detailed things about my life in a random Reddit sub, criticizing my decisions and even lying to get people to support her. Lying on the internet? People are allowed to do that? She has posts on that site talking about how happy she feels when my siblings are not at home, my sister adores her, but she has comments talking about how she can't wait for them to turn 18 and leave the house because she just wants to share the house with her family, which are my father and her toddler. It seems that she doesn't see us as her family. She has a lot of comments answering other people that it's totally okay to not love your stepchildren because they are not family, and it's okay not to consider them one. She has comments talking about how much it bothers her when my dad and brother have sleepovers. They just watch a series in the playroom and then go to sleep, as she's tired of hearing the laughter of a teenager and can't wait until we all leave the house so my father can be with his real family. But what she hates the most is having to learn sign language for my little sister. It had always seemed strange to me that stepmother still struggles with sign language, but now I know that she never really put in the effort to learn. My sister always said that for many people, sign language is very difficult, so I never said anything. But now I know that she always found it stupid to learn how to communicate with my sister when my sister always tried to help her. I was too surprised by the hatred she has when my father spends time with me and my sister. Her jealousy towards us is so obvious that it disgusts me that there were so many people who told her how they feel the same way about their stepdaughters. To the point of sexualizing things and saying too much disgusting things that I don't even want to say here. My siblings are not problem children. They even love her very much, and what fills me with anger the most is that she is so false in front of us. Do you know the number of times I offered to babysit my half-brother so that she and my dad can go on a date? All those times she refused to let me take care of him, but now I've seen comments that she left about how I'm living at my father's house and I don't help at all, only for other people to respond saying that she should give my father an ultimatum to make me leave because I'm too old to live with him and he has a new family. I cook my food, do my laundry, help my father pay the bills, while she doesn't, and normally only come home on the weekends because I'm doing a police academy almost full week. I don't even care if I'm making it too obvious who I am. It was my father who told me to move back in with him so that when I come back from the academy on Friday nights, it would be a shorter trip. She sexualizes my interactions with my father, saying that it's not normal for me to sleep and nap, hugging him, and that I should know my place. He's my father. What the hell is wrong with her? I'm so disgusted I have the comments, I have the post. I even have comments from years ago, and I will use them. I don't care. In the comments, Irascible says, show dad her posts. This, show your father what she really thinks of you all, because once you're all eventually out and she gets her wish, she's going to work double time to keep it that way and isolate him. You won't get any inheritance. She will make sure of it. Tell your father. She already hates you, so go ahead and give her a real reason to. I understand that sometimes people just don't get along, but that's really terrible and selfish behavior on her end. If she's considering giving your dad an ultimatum, beat her to the punch before she can come up with some sob story or cover-up. To complain about learning sign language, the sound of your brother's laugh, and sexualizing your relationship with your father? Shame on her. Your father deserves to know who he's married to. Yeah, I agree that you should tell him everything that's happened here, give him all of the history that you can find, and let him make a decision as to where he goes from here, because an ultimatum is crazy talk. Oh yeah, I hate your daughter, and I know it was your idea to move her into the house and to look after her, but I'm gonna break up with you if you don't get rid of her. Why? Because I said so. I would hope that any rational person that hears that puts their children first and goes, "You're not making any sense. Who the hell am I married to?" But I don't even think that's going to happen because I want OP here to beat her to the punch and expose just how much of a shit person she is and how much hate her heart is filled with. I'm so sorry that you had to experience all of this vile bullshit on the timeline, OP, but I think ultimately this is for the best so that you can get rid of this vile woman. And now, onto the update. I deleted the post. Hi, I decided to delete the post because for now, I can't tell anyone what happened because I'll basically be locked up in the academy until Friday morning. In fact, I shouldn't even be using my cell phone now. Someone with too much free time shared the situation in that sub of step-parents to warn my stepmother? I have screenshots of everything, including a video showing that it is her email and showing the comments. If she sees the post, what will she do? Delete the account? I already have proof. But I don't want my siblings to find out before I tell them, and I know that those types of posts usually end up in those TikToks that re-upload posts without permission, so I prefer to delete the post so that it doesn't stand out even more, although my siblings don't use Reddit or that kind of content. I'm going to post again in that sub when I talk about everything with my family, so I hope Redditors know how to keep the secret post for now. Being a stepmom is hard. Yes, one thing is feeling that you're having a hard time, and another totally different thing is making a post saying that you hate it when your stepdaughter is around her father because you think she's going to screw him. The hell? It's not the same to say being a step-parent is stressful than to say, honestly, learning sign language is unnecessary because when the girl turns 18, I won't see her again. It's a waste of time since she can read lips. Also, some people complained about me hugging my dad. I also take a nap hugging my mother or my siblings. I'm sorry for having a family that loves me and are not perverts who see a hug as something sexual. Probably next week I'll be able to give an update. The academy keeps me working almost all day. In the comments, Elegant Crab 7500 says, "Oh honey, my heart breaks for you. You do though sound very mature and responsible. I've helped my sister raise my niece who is now 23 and is totally alienated from her dad who left my sister for his now wife when my niece was only 10 months old, and step-family because her stepmom is much like yours, but has done far worse things, but then in a narcissistic way blamed it on my sister and I. My niece acts very tough and nonchalant about it, but a good few months ago, we were watching Hope Floats, and she just burst into tears sobbing, 'Why doesn't Dad love me? What did I do wrong?' There is no perfect outcome for this, sadly, but I do feel that she needs to know that you know, and so do your mum and siblings. If possible, do it in a calm, factual way that protects your integrity. From my experience, do not respond and/or mirror or act like her. Always maintain your dignity and equilibrium in spite of what people here might say. Always maintain the upper hand. My sister and I did not, and sadly reacted to a lot of what my niece's stepmom did with rage. She, as any good narcissist, would in turn use this against us." And now, onto the next update, titled, "I talked with my siblings and my mum." Hi. For now I'm going to post this little update here since I haven't spoken to my father yet, but I spoke with my siblings and my mum. I told my dad that I was staying at a friend's house when I left the academy, but I actually went to my mum's house and told her everything. She doesn't even know what Reddit is. That site isn't used too much here. But I translated the comments and posts for her. I showed her the videos, and my mum was furious. I explained to her that in the comments, BM, it's Madre Biologica. I was confused about it too the first time I heard that, also with SM. So my stepmom also made comments in posts complaining about my mother, being that they have always had a cordial treatment. But still, my stepmom was lying, saying that my mother was troublesome. No one in the comments said anything. Everyone supported her and they recommended that she should move far away with her legal family, far away from the problematic baby mum and kids, or biological mother and kids. First, we told my brother, who was also upset, and said that she was a fake, but that he had seen her ignore my sister and pretend that she doesn't see or hear her a lot of times. He explained that, like me, it also seemed strange to him that stepmom had not learned sign language. My siblings spent a lot of time at my father's house, and just like English or Spanish, sign language is much easier to learn if you live with someone who uses it every day. Therefore, it is strange that stepmother doesn't use it. He said that even my father is offered to pay for her classes, but she says that she doesn't have time. We asked him if he noticed any other behaviors of that kind, and he said that stepmom doesn't let him take care of our younger brother, which she also does with me, but curiously, she does let our sister take care of him, so I don't understand that. Other than that, she's never treated him badly or anything like that. At the time of telling my sister, she was the most hurt. She cried, especially because of stepmother's comments towards me, calling me a whore. It's kind of ironic how the comments towards her affected me, and the comments towards me affect her. Something that my sister noticed that I didn't is that almost all of stepmother's comments are criticizing me, my sister, and even my mother. But of my brother, she has only criticized sleepovers or when he comes back late from being with his friends. But she has criticized my sister's clothes, made up things about my life, confessed that she hates it when we hug our father, said that we are too clingy, she talked badly about my mother, etc. My sister said that it's sexist and maybe she's got some mental problem. A bit internalized misogyny, huh? My sister said she always believed stepmom didn't really hear her and she maybe wasn't speaking well and didn't understand her. I think that's the shittiest thing of all. My sister's greatest pride is being able to pronounce some words, no matter how short they are or if they sound like noise for some people. We understand her. But stepmom made her feel insecure every time she ignored her. I know that my sister always justified that by believing that it was her mistake and that stepmom made an effort to learn, but it was simply more difficult for her. But now we know that no, she was never interested in learning. I'm getting mad again as I write this. Sorry. My mother said that she was going to talk to the both of them, mainly because even though it's an anonymous site, stepmom's way of expressing herself is sick and she's not going to let my siblings be around someone like that. Oh, but she's venting. Being a stepmom is lonely. I received comments like that. It's not the same to say, I feel lonely and I feel stressed, than to say, my stepdaughter behaves like a slut. Just because me and my minor sister used a bikini for the pool. Her account is old. She's been leaving comments like that for years. With lies, with complaints that we have never heard before. It's just messed up. We arranged that we are going to tell our father all together and show him everything, so we're probably going to tell him tomorrow because I need to leave to the academy on Monday. My stepmom's account is not deleted. It's crazy how she makes things up to get approval from strangers. At this point, I don't even know if she's crazy or a mythomaniac. I would like to go back to her email since the password is saved, but I don't know if she'll receive a notification of that because this time I closed the account. And now, onto the final update. So we talked to my father over the weekend. For now, he is staying at my mother's house. It's a complicated situation since in the middle of everything is my half-sibling too. During the weekend, I went to my father's house, and the first thing I did was tell my stepmom separately that I've seen her Reddit account, and I'm going to talk about it with my dad. She told me that I can't condemn her for something she uses as an intimate diary, but I told her that this is not a diary. It's a social network where she makes her problems and lies public. If someone other than me discovered her account, then what was going to happen? Were they going to believe all the things that she invented? If her identity was revealed in that account by someone else, I would have too many problems, and could even be kicked out of the academy. Again, there is a big difference between saying, I'm stressed, and my stepdaughters behave like sla-la-la-la-las around their father. I simply told her that my mother and sister also know it, and would come to talk about it too. She, for obvious reasons, just went to lock herself in her room, not wanting to talk with me. Once we talked to my father, I showed him most of the posts and comments. There were so many crazy comments that I would think it would take me too long to read them all, because they were just too long. She's the kind of person who comments the bio of their lives in the posts of other people. My father got angry. My stepmother never expressed having a single problem with us like that. The situation would be different if we knew what she thought about us. My father went to look for my stepmother, who refused to talk about it and was mostly angry with me for violating her privacy. My father told her that she's insane for thinking that my sister and I sexually provoked him, that he can't believe the way she talks about my sister and the happiness she expresses every time my sister goes to the hospital and is not home, how she expresses to be counting the days until my siblings stop going to the house forever. My father told her that she knew that he is a father and that he would never leave us aside. She made her decision, and even so, instead of talking about her problems, she decided to create an account to play at being a victim. She said she needs a place to vent, but he told her that venting is not the same as telling lies. Venting is not the same as hating your stepdaughters and talking horrible things about them, and she could have spoken about it and not just lied. They argued a lot, but it didn't get anywhere because she kept defending herself, and my father only told her that it was over. My mother told my father that she's not going to let my sister and brother be around a woman who is clearly mentally unstable, because no normal person thinks like that. After arguing too much, and even trying to make stepmother understand that what she did is wrong, she just justified herself all the time. My father went with us and told her that he is going to come back just to see my brother every day, but that he no longer trusts her and never saw that side of her. She lied for so many years. Nothing really went as I expected because I expected her to be more mature. I think I at least hoped that she could apologize, but I think she doesn't even think that what she did was wrong. In her mind, everything was totally justified because being a stepmother is difficult. But nothing justifies her being so cruel and so poisonous. But yeah, that's what happened. I think it's hurtful to know that someone can hide that much darkness inside them. I wasn't too close with her, but I liked her, to the point of sharing my clothes and things with her, so I also feel sad about it, mostly for my dad. In the comments, Don't Kill the Messenger 1 says, "Wow, just wow. You think you know someone, and then 1 second, bam! I'm so sorry that you and your family are dealing with this. The stepmother is off her rocker. Does she need constant attention and approval? She needs therapy, and most likely the whole family, because this is a traumatic event, and major trust issues are now forming. Stay well, stay strong, OP." I'm happy that your father stood up for you all. I got kicked out of the step-parent subreddits because it was clear that some step-parents were unhinged and hated their stepkids with a passion. OP says, "Yeah, I even had to delete the first post because I was told that someone had made a post in that subreddit to alert my stepmother. It's insane what hateful step-parents would do. That woman's sick. The father should fight to get majority custody of their shared kid, if not full with supervised visitations, because who knows what she'll say or do to that baby. Anyone who thinks like that and justifies their behavior is capable of anything. I used to post regularly, back when it had quality moderation. Used to be folks who wanted to blame the kids got a swift kick in the pants and a reminder that they chose their situation. Stepkids had no say. I don't know what shifted, but the whole sub took a sharp turn off a cliff at some point. Did the stepmother really believe that a loving father like this won't have his kids at home after they became 18? Lol? There's a story of a father asking why his fiancée didn't want his daughter to be a part of their wedding, and it turned out that she thought that he would become just a child support dad and they would move away together and never see her again. That's terrible. Do people genuinely do that? That's sick in the head. I applaud you, OP, for stepping up for your father and for your entire family in this situation. She deserves to have a post history and all the vile shit she said exposed online. You deserve better than that, and your father definitely deserves to be away from that demon. I really don't have too much else to add then. That was a great update. Thank you for the story. I hope she leaves you guys alone in the future, because her expecting him to abandon his kids as soon as they turn 18, especially given how the world has changed and, kids will live at home until like their 30s, their mid-30s. That's just so cruel and gross to expect that he cuts you guys off then. She's delusional. Wishing you all the best for the future, OP. Our next post is by user Local Honeydew, titled, "Am I the asshole for insisting my friend's significant other pay their share for holiday accommodation? My friend, male 47, and I, female 43, booked to go to an island that we'd both been keen to go to. We booked a 2-bed cabin, and because of the popularity of the place, we had to book and pay 10 months in advance. We split the cost 50-50. 2 months before we're due to go, he meets someone and they commence dating. The holiday comes up and, understandably, she was a bit uncomfortable with him coming with me. I was given an ultimatum. Either she comes or the entire holiday is called off. I didn't say yes immediately because I needed to check with the accommodation, as the island has a limited number of guests allowed and I need the okay from them first. My hesitation wasn't taken well. They thought I wasn't keen. I got back to them within 24 hours and said that I'd gotten the all clear for his girlfriend to also come, and she could book plane tickets for her. A week later, he informed me that she had the tickets, and I asked him if we could discuss rebalancing the accommodation costs now that there was the 3 of us coming, as it should now be a 3-way split. I was surprised that he responded with anger. As far as he was concerned, the accommodation was paid for, and it was wrong and greedy of me to expect money from his girlfriend. He told me that he was paying for the entire holiday for his girlfriend, so it was still going to be just him and me paying, so it was unfair of me not to pay for half. I told him that there's 3 adults, 3 people, 3-way splits. If he chose to pay for his girlfriend's third, then that was his choice and nothing to do with me. He told me his girlfriend was going to buy me a cocktail to say thank you for the accommodation, but if I was going to insist on a split, then I could forget it and buy my own damn cocktails, as he couldn't believe that I was being so selfish. The thing is, a cocktail is $15, and I was currently covering half her accommodation costs, $600. I don't think I was an asshole for asking her/them to cover her share of the accommodation. I hadn't even met her yet, but they thought that I should cover her costs because it was already paid for. Am I the asshole for insisting that she pay for her component of the cost? In the comments, Just Hanging Out 420 says, "Not the asshole. Pull out of the vacation if you can still get a full refund. This will not end up being fun for you." This OP. There is a very real chance this trip is going to be unpleasant for you, potentially even doing permanent damage to your friendship. You could also offer for the girlfriend to pay for your half, and then they both go instead of the 3 of you. Not the asshole. Make a deal with him. She pays for her share of the cabin, you buy your own drinks. Problem solved. Not the arsehole, but he should buy you out of the holiday, and you can go somewhere on your own and not be the third wheel in the obsessive period of someone's new relationship, 'cause that's a lot of fun. Not. Or be expected to pay for half of your friend's new girlfriend's holiday. Agree on the not the arsehole. It's not fair to go 50-50. I think a 3-way split is fair. Yes, they are sharing a room, but you aren't paying for just where you sleep. There is the rest of the cabin common space and always being around this new person. I have to think a 2-bedroom island cabin is not that big. For sure, a drink is not the same as paying some of the cabin cost. Maybe not a third, but definitely something significant. If you would still go, 'cause I wouldn't. I agree too on trying to change this trip. There is no way you could go as originally planned, even if you wanted to, because of new girlfriend. 50-50 is not fair, and even if you change your mind and compromised about this, you'd be the third wheel with a brand new relationship. And even if they now agree to a fairer split, is that worth the possible stress and tension if they're passive-aggressive about it? Can you buy your, maybe soon-to-be ex, friend out and either go on your own or with another friend. Worst case scenario, can you cancel and get some or all of your money back? Is it too late to get a refund on anything? I wouldn't want to spend a single second with them, considering they're treating you like trash for asking for a simple contribution on a trip that the new girlfriend has weaseled her way into. I would bet my bottom dollar that she either can't afford and is insecure, or that she's just that entitled. If he's paying her whole trip, then he needs to cough up more for the stay. Bad friend. OP replies, I'm super tempted to throw it all in. Demands have started about removing myself from the cabin to give them privacy and cancelling pre-booked plans because she doesn't want to do them. Yeah, if they're gonna start making those demands and trying to get you to cancel pre-booked plans, OP, I'd be out of there yesterday. If you do actually want to go on the trip still, which I doubt given that comment, I'd still keep doing what you're doing with the 1/3 share. Because I think that capitulating to them won't be a good time, because then they'll expect you to capitulate in other areas. They get to have their holiday while you're just an observer that's kind of bankrolling her in a way. Aw, thanks for buying me a cocktail. It's too bad that I couldn't join you guys on the snorkeling or the, romantic trip around the island because my presence isn't wanted. I just think that there's more potential for bad news than good news here, and you should absolutely look out for yourself in this instance, not the asshole. And now, onto the updates. Thank you, everyone. Interesting to see various lines of thought. It seems there's a split between people that think that everyone pays equally no matter what, those that think a couple sharing a bedroom are treated as one person cost-wise, and those that think the costs should be split, taking into account the shared areas. 1/3 per bedroom, 1/3 per shared spaces. With this in mind, and everything else going on, I called the accommodation and discussed options, then called my friend. I explained to him that we'd made the arrangement to split everything equally when there was only the two of us going, but I no longer felt that the agreement was fair. I suggested the third option, splitting the cost of the communal areas 3 ways, but set cost per bedroom, and also stated that any food, activities, etc. wouldn't be split anymore. We would each be responsible for our own, and they could decide as a couple how they were paying for themselves. It didn't go down well at all. He didn't see why he should be out of pocket because I decided to go against our agreement that I'm paying 50% of everything. I stuck to it and said that I'd been willing to negotiate the accommodation costs, but there was no way that I was going to pay half for his girlfriend's activities or her dinners and drinks, and it was ridiculous for him to think that I should be paying half of his girlfriend's costs, especially since she's a complete stranger, and he'd already asked me to change all of our previous plans to suit her. He called me a B-word, a witch, and told me that I was acting crazy. I stopped him and said that from that, I don't think this holiday is going to work, and I'd spoken to the accommodation and I was going to cancel as of today. I told him if he still wanted to go, then the accommodation would hold open the booking for him for 72 hours, and if he confirmed it with them, I'd instructed them to hold on to $1,800 as what he'd contributed to the booking and refund me the rest, and his girlfriend and him would have to pay the hotel to finalize. If they didn't confirm, I would get the refund for the whole amount and then forward him his share. He then went quiet and told me that since I was changing the rules at the last minute, I should leave the entire accommodation payment because it wasn't his fault that I no longer wanted to go, leaving them in the lurch, and I would be ruining his holiday with his girlfriend. I told him that I was cancelling and I would definitely not be paying for any accommodation I wouldn't be using. I might have been a little petty when I told him that he'd still be paying for his girlfriend's costs. It'll just be a little bit more than he was expecting because I was no longer going to subsidize them. I cancelled my flights and the accommodation and emailed him all the details. In the comments, JulesMe10 says, "Wow, I'm so sorry. They both are immature. I bet you she's young. Offering a cocktail and then taking it back? She is young or broke or cheap. Not someone you want to go on a nice trip with. I would say, since there are so many requests by her, this has become a trip more about her, and therefore needs to be split 3 ways. How is it fair that she gets to kick me out of the cabin? Sadly, you may lose a friend over this. He's obviously siding with his 2-minute jealous girlfriend over a long-term friend." OP says, she's 51, so the oldest. I don't know her at all. Never met her, so can't say whether she's cheap or broke. Who is this guy to you? How did you meet him? How long have you known him? I cannot fathom someone expecting this from someone else. It sounds like an oblivious, self-centered sibling taking advantage of a family bond type of entitlement. This can't have been the first time that he's done something this inconsiderate. OP says, I'd known him for 5 years as a friend. Yes, I've had some issues with him for the lack of empathy regarding others and some general selfishness. He was a mid-40s guy that basically never had a long-term girlfriend. I just sort of went with the too used to doing his own thing to pay much attention to it. We've traveled together before and in larger groups. I have issues in the past with his lack of planning, leaving a lot up to me, but his entire personality seemed to change overnight when he started seeing this new girlfriend. Nothing was good enough. Before, he'd at least discuss things, talk options. This time was like hitting a brick wall. His way or no way. Decided this was what was going to happen without talking to me, and then got angry when I wanted to discuss it first. OP messaged an update and says, I haven't kept in contact with them for obvious reasons, but through some mutual type of friends, I found out the following. They planned to go, but tried to find cheaper accommodation on the island, so let the hold expire without making any contact with the accommodation. From my understanding, everything was booked up completely that weekend and for the next 6 months. They lost the option to use the cabin, and someone else immediately booked it when it became free, as there's a wait list. I received back the full deposit and immediately transferred his portion to him as I stated I would. Never got an acknowledgement that he received it, but it was an account that I'd paid into previously, and my bank assured me that it was good. A mutual friend told me the ex-friend was pissed off, as, against my advice, he had bought non-refundable, non-transferable plane tickets and refused to buy travel insurance, so he's out the cost of those fares, about $3,200, and that because I pulled out, his holiday with his girlfriend was totally ruined, and I owed him an apology and the cost of the affairs. Not gonna happen. Myself, I booked a holiday back at the island where I'm in a single apartment by myself and plan to have an awesome time. In the comments, Humanity is a Cesspool says, I love how the friend was the one to insist on bringing the girlfriend last minute, but OP was the one changing the rules. Like nobody, you changed the rules first by turning a 2-person trip into a couple's holiday with a third wheel. OP was just adjusting the rest to make things fair. It's not my fault that you no longer wanted to go. Well, it quite literally is. Dude was beyond transparent about how he was planning to take advantage of OP and treat her like a wallet, and OP gave him plenty of opportunities to back down gracefully. He single-handedly ruined the holiday with his greed. Refused to pay $300, so lost $3,200 and ruined a friendship. Insane. He's the one that threatened to pull out if the girlfriend couldn't come, so why is he acting like OP is the asshole for pulling out? $300 is just the accommodation. He expected OP to split the girlfriend's food and activities as well. Yes, this was the most mind-boggling part of the whole thing. Who the hell would expect her to pay for his girlfriend that she's never met? Insanity. All insanity, and good riddance to bad trash. I could understand, like the accommodation thing, as that was pre-made beforehand, but the fact that he got so enraged that they couldn't make new plans after the accommodation and dinners that OP would cover 50% of, but his 51-year-old girlfriend refused to pay for? He's so enraged that OP won't pay for someone else when things will become understandably more expensive with a third person. Like, why won't you pay for this stranger's costs for everything and also stay out of the cabin because I want to have sex with her? You can sit outside the cabin like a good little dog, okay? And pay for us. Don't forget to pay for us too. I don't even think it's the audacity at this point. The delusion is astounding. The absolute delusion of these two has amazed me, but the delusion of society never ceases to amaze me because it always finds new lows. Oh, whatever. I'm glad that OP looked after themselves. Buy travel insurance, guys. It's pretty good. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.